And then you're told that you look intense, of course, when you're listening. And INFJ somehow locks in on the other person. Now, when you're talking, you become a little bit more coy because you're no longer just receiving a bit of information, you're actually processing it in your mind because you need to answer something. So what usually happens is that your eyes start drifting as you're reflecting, usually looking into the distance, and sometimes looking at the person, but it's as if you're looking behind the person. But I think that it's too often the case that we try to analyze the gaze of an INFJ when he's talking. And that's done by a lot of different people, particularly people who type by micro expressions. And they will look at the video and analyze how, what the facial expressions and the gaze of the person is saying. But it's just as informative, if not more informative, to look at the facial expression of a person as they're listening to someone. Because when you're listening to someone, you're not as aware of yourself, you're not as self-aware, and therefore you're not as likely to try to adopt a particular attitude consciously or subconsciously, which, if it is adopted, would jeopardize the viability of the analysis because you're injecting your own subjectivity into a projection of your appearance. So the way a person is looking at you when you're talking tells you a lot ultimately about that person's type. And if you check again, the facial expression I had in the first half minute, that's exactly the way I look at people when they're talking to me. And that in itself is enough to explain why, when I've been on dates, when I've met people for the first time, I've been described as intense, and a lot of INFJs would be described as intense. But let me know what you think in the comments, guys, and if you've heard similar comments, and if you think you make similar faces, not when you're talking, but when you're listening, when someone is speaking and you're focusing on what they're saying. Share your experiences, consider subscribing, consider dropping a like in the comments, and also The Ecstatic Soul. Don't forget, the book is still out. All the links in the Amazon links in the description box below, as well as my Patreon page if you would like to support me. This book, The Ecstatic Soul, is the deepest investigation of the INFJ conducted, so it's also a lovely product. The Ecstatic Soul. See you soon, guys. Bye-bye.